So we are living in a time where inflation is freaking crazy. Everything's super, super expensive. We also spent so much time cooking at home for the last few years. So today, I thought it would be fun for me to show you how to save some money, how to cut down on food waste, and how to make meal prep quick and easy. These are some tips that I use that I'm going to share with you for how to make food prep, meal prep. My meal prep's a bit different. I don't make a bunch of broccoli and tofu and rice for the week and then force myself to eat that all week. It's a bit different. I like to leave myself room to play with the food and use my imagination still while prepping it very, very quickly and effectively, efficiently, and having a really well thought out plan. The first thing you want to do is to, make a plan. You want to take stock of what is in your pantry, what is in your fridge, the freezer, see what you already have, and then think of some meal ideas that would be really great with those options. Then you can make a list for when you go to the grocery store and stick to that list. When you're thinking about meal ideas, try to think of meals that the ingredients or the ingredients for those meals can kind of interchangeably hang out with each other so that you have multiple different types of meals. So when I'm prepping, I have about 4 different elements. I have a base, I have a protein, I have a vegetable, and I have a sauce. So let's start with the bases. The bases can be anything, really. I like to have a wrap as a base, so have a package of wraps in the house. I like to do some sort of grain or starch, so something like quinoa or brown rice, or make both. You can also do that, keep things interesting. One that I like to do is diced and roasted potatoes. They just it's a level of crunchy saltiness. You have the carbs, it's really, really good. The second one is protein. So again, I like to have 3 different types of protein. I like them to be fairly different from one another. Usually I will make something like a chili, which is amazing. You can also, it kind of duplicates as a sauce too, but having a chili with lots of beans and a veggie ground round. Then I like to do just a basic marinated tofu. I marinate my tofu with apple cider vinegar, some water, and soy sauce, and it's so good. Then you can grill that up or bake it or cut it into cubes and have it raw in a salad. It's really, really good. And then the last one, I like to have something more fun as my protein. So if I am starting to feel a little bit of meal prep burnout, which I don't really get anymore because I have strategically thought of a way to make this interesting. I like to have something fun. So something like chicken tenders, for example. So I use just Gardein or Eve's, just chicken style, veggie tenders or nuggets. And then I also have those in the fridge as well. For veggies, I find carrots are just a great cheap option that it takes carrots forever to go bad. So that's a great one to have in your fridge. I like to just slice them up and you can throw them in multiple different things or eat them raw. I always have greens, so things like arugula, spinach, bok choy, not so much lettuce. I find lettuce just goes bad really easily. Plus I have my little garden over here where I grow my own lettuce, so I don't really buy that. I like to have cherry tomatoes as opposed to beefsteak tomatoes or Roma tomatoes, just because where I live in Canada, tomatoes already are terrible most of the time, except for 1 month out of the year. They're really sweet and super flavorful, so you know exactly what you're getting and you can use them in so many different things. I also like to have some sort of heartier vegetable, so whether that's a cauliflower or a broccoli or something like a sweet potato, I will cut that up and also roast half of it and keep the other half raw. And then I also like to have something like a cucumber, something that I can very easily throw into a salad or into a bowl. And then the last element is the sauces. Now really this can be anything from a hummus to a plant-based ricotta, could be a salad dressing, could be a buffalo sauce, can be a pesto. What else? Could be a teriyaki or something. Also another really good one is a taco sauce, something like that. Just anything. Have 3 or 4 of them on hand, and that way you can take all of these elements and make multiple different meals. My second major tip, aside from making a plan, picking recipes so that, and having a good idea, map it out so you know exactly what you're buying. When you're done buying those items, come home and wash them right away and chop them right away and put them in your fridge. Put them in marked or see-through containers. You know exactly what is in the fridge. I like to also label where things go in my fridge, so I know my leftovers are on the top and then all my chopped veggies are in the bottom. And in the middle, I have my proteins and my sauces and that sort of thing. So you always know what's in your fridge. You're more likely to cook with it if it's already chopped because most of the work is already done. This is my biggest tip, and I don't know how many people I've met that don't know that they can do this with their food processor, is chop your vegetables or dice your vegetables with your food processor. You can slice them, you can dice them, you can chop them up, and it takes a third of the amount of time. if even that. It's so quick, it's so easy. I have this KitchenAid one. It has a dicer, it has a slicer, so I like to like dice my potatoes, slice my carrots, chop up my onions, chop up my garlic. You do all of that in advance and stick it in the fridge. You also want to make sure that you pre-cook your like carbs and grains. Even something like brown rice, like sometimes just the sheer length it takes to make it is annoying. So do it all at the same time. You can start when you're doing your prep, you can start with the grains, throw them in, they're boiling or they're in your rice cooker, and then chop all your vegetables, and likely you will be done at the same time. And same with your proteins, make your proteins in advance. I just throw a bunch of stuff into sometimes a slow cooker or just on the stove, like my chili, for example. And I like to use my chili too as like a use whatever needs to be used situation. It's really great for that. Okay, so I said that you should pick vegetables or pick meals where you can make multiple different things out of them. Let me give you a couple examples. So something like a stir fry, for example, all you have to do is throw all of your chopped veggies into a pan with like some cubed marinated tofu and a sauce, and you are done. You can eat that on its own or with some noodles or with the brown rice that you prepped. Another great one is a salad, making like a really nice big salad out of the items that you have, or a bowl. So having a base of like brown rice or quinoa is really, really great for that, or even potatoes. If you've never had a bowl with potatoes or even potatoes on a salad, so good. Pick a base. And then I like to put a bunch of greens in there. I like to take my roasted veggies, whatever I've decided to have that week, and put some of that in there. So you have this nice combination of raw veggies and cooked veggies. It's a nice like texture difference, taste difference. You can throw some tomatoes in there. And then for your sauces, you can take one of your sauces, let's say it's like a pesto. You can put some vinegar in there with a little bit of pesto, shake it up, and you have yourself a salad dressing. Easy peasy. And same with the bowls. You can do that with the bowls as well. You can do potatoes and chili and maybe some vegan cheese, some tomatoes. If you have like an avocado kicking around, you can throw that in there and you have yourself a really hearty chili bowl. Another one is tacos. You can make a taco out of almost anything. I guess I could also throw quesadilla in there as well. You can use the chili to make tacos. Delicious. Some chopped spinach or lettuce or something, tomatoes, cheese, some taco sauce, like super, super tasty. Cut up the chicken tenders, throw them in some buffalo sauce and put them into a taco with some slaw. There's so many things that you can do. And then the last one is a wrap, which I guess is kind of like a taco, but I like to make like a Caesar dressing and then toss my greens in the Caesar dressing, toss my chicken tenders in the buffalo, and then make a buffalo chicken wrap. It's super delicious, super, super tasty. Or you can use the marinated tofu. You can, fry it up on the stove or bake it and throw it into a wrap with like the hummus and the pesto and your greens, maybe some tomatoes, and you have a completely different wrap. It's about as vast as your imagination is. So get really creative. Try not to do the same thing every week. I mean, if something really works for you and you know you're going to have it, then that's great. But try to mix it up every week. And remember, only pick foods and recipes that you know you're actually going to eat. There's no point in meal prepping if you don't want to eat the food that's in your fridge. All right, guys, those are my quick and easy tips for you to meal prep quickly, efficiently, effectively, and deliciously. God, so corny. Love it. As always, make sure that you check out my other videos for delicious food inspiration, and I'll see you next time. Bye.